Hello and welcome once again. I appreciate the thumbs up. It helps me with Google's ranking. Is it possible that the heart and the soul and the mind or ego can all come together and work together as one? Is it possible that the mind, ego, could ever calm down and support you in ways that you're not aware of or could possibly dream? I can only share with you what I have experienced, some of which I've heard a long time ago and didn't believe it to be true. I think the biggest thing for myself is, and I mention it in all my videos, is the more that I go within myself, the more honest and truthful and treating myself with the greatest respect, the conversations that I have with myself have changed drastically. Now I know that I used to be very hard on the ego and give it a lot of hell and never really paid attention to it, till I began to realize that the ego is only doing what it figured it needed to do because no one else was doing it. Years, eons, lifetimes ago, for whatever reason, man had decided not to make choices and allowed the ego to do so. So the ego basically grew into itself like a spoiled, rotten kid. The real job of the ego, the mind, is one, the logical side of yourself, which is good, can be debating. But the other side is that it runs the body. I mean, think of it. You don't sit there and tell yourself when to breathe or how to breathe. You're clearly not telling your heart how to beat, nor are you in there directing how your digestive system works. So who does that? The power of the mind. The mind is listening to you always, as the body is listening to you always. But not getting off topic. So how could the mind, who's had full reign over yourself, as my mind had full reign over me, how can the mind, the heart, and the soul come together as one? Now, I know there are people on this planet right now that live in that space within themselves, where they see goodness in everyone and everything. They treat everyone with the utmost respect, because everything is a reflection of how they behave. It has always been a dream of myself to be that way, to hold no judgment, considering I went to the school of judgment and passed with honors, but realized that all I was doing is judging and hurting myself. So it was bringing it always back to me. The mind, like a orphaned child that's been ignored, does have its rantings and its ravings, but its key role now, for many of you, is to make you more aware of what you need to heal within inside of yourself. So when a thought comes in your head where it says, I'm not good enough, that is because there's an aspect within you that feels that way. So you need to go inside of yourself and have a conversation with that aspect that feels not good enough. The same thing when you feel any type of emotion, anger, fear, sadness, hurt. They're all good. They're all part of who you are. But it's not about pushing them away and ignoring them or trying to figure who did what, who said what that created that. It's about, again, it's like a long lost child. You bring it in, you hold it, you love it, and you allow yourself to feel that without interfering, without questioning, without judging. I shared this story before, and I think it's appropriate now. When a man saw his 4-year-old daughter having a tantrum because he and his wife had decided to split up, and the 4-year-old did not understand and probably thought that she was responsible for that breakup. It's crazy what we do as a child. We believe the wrong things. So this child was going into a rampage ranting and raving, and all he did was he picked her up, put her on her lap, and he held her. And he said nothing. He didn't try to shut her down. He didn't try to tell her not to say that or to be that way, nor did he tell her to go to her room and calm down. He just allowed the child to experience everything that child was experiencing. And it went on maybe for 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know, I wasn't there. But at the end of it all, the child got off his lap and went on to playing as though nothing had happened. You see, we've never given ourselves the permission to experience whatever it is we're feeling, and this is what it is you need to do now. You need to allow yourself to be angry. You can say, okay, I'm going to be angry for the next 10 minutes. And just allow yourself to experience it. Allow yourself to cry. And as you do, just hold the highest compassion with yourself without judging it. So the more that you do that with the mind, with the ego, the more your heart opens up. And then you become more understanding and you hold more compassion. You start to forgive yourself for not being so perfect, for not being the best mother or the father, or believing in all those stories that you believed in, believing that you were never good enough, but you know you are. But there's aspects of you that don't know, and those are like long lost children. They need to be pulled into your heart. They need to be forgiven. They need to be loved. And as you do that, what happens next is that then your soul starts to evolve and it starts to move forward and it starts to expand because you are learning, you're discovering more. And the purest essence of yourself, your beloved, your highest self, whatever label you want to give that, starts to come within you. And that is where all that integrating begins, because you see, you've done your work. The mind sits back and does what it's supposed to do. It runs the body and it heals the body. You see, the more that you embrace all that has upset you, the more the body relaxes and can heal. And the more the body relaxes and heals, the more your heart opens up. It just keeps going, and it just gets bigger and bigger until your heart wants to burst. You want to burst. You feel this freedom of peace and tranquility. Some of the people that I have been working with, because I've been offering free sessions for the month of June, and it seems this is what people want to do. They want to find out, how do we get back into our hearts? How do we become loving and understanding? It's simple. Just treat yourself with respect. The more you love yourself, the more you will always tell the truth. Because you see, that's what it is you need to do. You need to start telling yourself the truth. That I will continue to do this, that I promise from this day forth that I will treat you with the beautiful respect. These are the promises that you have to be saying this to yourself. So when the mind decides to dress you up again in all those beliefs that do not support you, reminding you that you're not good enough when you know very well you are. When the mind decides to do that, to dress you over again, stop it. You don't have to wear those clothes anymore. They're old and torn and ragged. They don't belong to you. You need to stand up to it. You need to stand up for you. No one has. No one will. Only you can do that. Be truthful to yourself. Share your insights. Share what you have been experiencing, what you have discovered. Because what you're doing is you help other people to see it from a different perspective. You help people to expand their understanding, not just based on what I say, but based on what you've experienced. I'm only sharing one side of myself. You are sharing your other side, and together we make a full picture. But the work starts with you, and all it requires is a bit of devotion. Yes, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves. Yes, you're going to have to do some work. But don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time to get off that carousel that you thought was your merry-go-round? A different kind of merry-go-round for sure. It's time, lovely ones, it's time to take your power back and to start living the way you are and supposed to live, to fulfill and continue to fulfill that contract you made. The reason why you're here, to fulfill the contract of your soul. Do give me a thumbs up, I appreciate it. And as I said, for the month of June, I'm offering free sessions. But if you think I'm the one that you've been seeking, the one that can help you find your way back home to your heart, then set up a clarity call. All that information's on my webpage. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. From my heart to yours.